Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. True strength is silent, and it terrifies those who rely on noise. Sigma males walk a path few dare to tread. They don't chase attention, they don't play by the rules of society's hierarchies, and they don't need validation from anyone. This quiet independence can leave others unsettled, even horrified, because it challenges the very foundations on which most people build their identities. What makes a Sigma male different is their ability to move through life on their own terms, refusing to conform yet succeeding in ways that make others question everything. Whether it's their unshakable calm in the face of chaos, their uncanny ability to see through facades, or their indifference to societal norms, Sigma males naturally disrupt the status quo, and not everyone can handle it. If you're a Sigma male, or think you might be, this video is for you. You'll discover the extraordinary things you do unknowingly, and why they leave such a powerful impact. Watch to understand yourself better, and embrace the unique strength you bring to the world. Number 1. They treat power as a joke. Power is the ultimate currency in most social circles. People fight for it, cling to it, and define themselves by how much of it they can accumulate. But Sigma males? They treat power like it's a cheap illusion. It's not out of rebellion or arrogance. It's because they see through it. To a Sigma, power is nothing more than a game of perception, and they're simply not interested in playing. This attitude unnerves people who thrive on control. Those who base their self-worth on their position or authority suddenly find themselves facing someone who doesn't care about their rank or influence. A Sigma male doesn't flinch at intimidation tactics, doesn't scramble for approval, and doesn't waste energy trying to climb the ladder. This lack of reaction creates an almost palpable discomfort, as it exposes just how fragile the concept of power really is. Their indifference goes even deeper. Sigmas don't view power as a prize to be won. They see it as a burden that often traps people in a cycle of dependency and validation. Watching someone walk through life completely detached from the need for dominance makes others question their own motives. If a Sigma can thrive without power, what does that say about those who can't live without it? This dynamic is why Sigma males unintentionally disrupt the status quo. Their refusal to acknowledge power's significance doesn't just reject authority, it dismantles the foundation of the social games others build their lives around, and that terrifies people. Power, for many, is security. To see someone treat it as irrelevant makes them question everything they've worked for. Sigmas prove that real strength isn't about holding power. It's about knowing you don't need it. And nothing is more unsettling to those who believe otherwise. Number 2. They spot weakness in seconds. Sigma males have an almost uncanny ability to see what others try so hard to hide. They don't need long conversations or dramatic reveals to figure someone out. It's instinctive, like reading a page of an open book. Subtle gestures, micro-expressions, and the way someone frames their words all tell a Sigma what's really going on beneath the surface. And the unsettling part? They do it effortlessly, often without even realizing they're doing it. This precision unnerves people, because it's rare to encounter someone who truly sees you. Most rely on their social masks to navigate the world, carefully hiding their insecurities, fears, or hidden motives. But to a Sigma male, those masks might as well be made of glass. They see past the surface with a clarity that can leave others feeling exposed and vulnerable. What's even more disarming is that Sigmas rarely use this insight for manipulation. They don't exploit weaknesses or call them out unnecessarily. Their ability to observe and understand isn't about control, it's about awareness. Yet this very restraint can make people even more uncomfortable. The idea that someone could know their deepest insecurities and still say nothing creates a tension that's hard to shake. For many, being seen so clearly is a terrifying experience. It forces them to confront the parts of themselves they'd rather ignore. In the presence of a Sigma, people can't help but feel a bit more self-conscious, questioning what's being silently observed and understood. This isn't something a Sigma male sets out to do. It's simply part of who they are. Their ability to spot weakness so quickly isn't a weapon, but the sheer fact that they can see it makes people uneasy. It's a quiet power that changes the dynamic without a single word being spoken. Number 3, they make chaos look effortless. Chaos has a way of exposing people. For most, it brings out panic, indecision, or desperation as they cling to whatever sense of order they can salvage. But for Sigma males, chaos is just another state of being, something to navigate, not fear. While others flail under the weight of unpredictability, Sigmas remain unshaken, moving through the storm with an almost unnerving ease. What sets them apart is their mindset. Sigma males don't rely on rigid structures or pre-planned strategies. They understand that life rarely follows a script, and they embrace that reality. Their ability to adapt on the fly isn't a skill they learned. It's a natural extension of their independence and self-reliance. When everything falls apart, they don't freeze, they pivot. This calm control in the face of chaos leaves others unsettled. People who depend on predictability or rigid systems find themselves flustered by the Sigma's composure. It's not just that Sigmas handle chaos well, it's that they seem to thrive in it. Their ability to stay calm, assess the situation, and act decisively creates a stark contrast to those who crumble under pressure. Even more disconcerting is how effortless it all looks. Sigmas don't perform or seek recognition for their cool-headedness. They aren't trying to impress anyone. They're simply doing what needs to be done. For people who view chaos as a threat to their control, this effortless adaptability can feel like a direct challenge to their way of thinking. In the end, Sigma males prove that chaos isn't something to fear. It's an opportunity to grow, adapt, and find new paths forward. And while they leave others scrambling, they move through the turbulence with a quiet confidence that speaks volumes about their inner strength. Number 4, they can exit without a sound. When a Sigma male leaves, it's not with a bang, it's with silence. There's no dramatic farewell, no lingering resentment, and no drawn-out explanation. They simply decide it's time to move on, and they do so without hesitation or ceremony. This ability to exit so cleanly unsettles people because it reveals just how little control they had over the connection in the first place. Unlike others who may stay out of obligation, fear, or comfort, Sigmas are profoundly independent. They value their freedom more than anything, and when something no longer aligns with their values or goals, they see no reason to linger. Their detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. They know when something has run its course and refuse to waste energy trying to force what no longer works. This level of self-assuredness leaves others shaken. It's one thing to be left behind, but it's another to realize that someone never needed the connection to begin with. For people who thrive on validation or control, the Sigma's ability to walk away without a backward glance feels like a personal defeat. It forces them to confront their own dependence on the relationship, while the Sigma moves forward without hesitation. What's most unsettling is how final it feels. There's no lingering bitterness or chance for closure. A Sigma's exit is absolute. This lack of emotional theatrics confuses those who expect conflict or drama as a sign of a meaningful relationship. But for the Sigma male, meaning isn't tied to permanence. It's tied to authenticity. By walking away so decisively, Sigmas demonstrate their unshakable sense of self. It's not about hurting others, it's about staying true to themselves. And for those left behind, that quiet strength can feel like the loudest statement of all. Number 5, they are too comfortable with the unknown. For most people, the unknown is a source of anxiety. It represents unpredictability, risk, and a lack of control, things that many spend their lives trying to avoid. But Sigma males are wired differently. Where others see danger, they see potential. Where most hesitate, they move forward. Their ability to embrace uncertainty with confidence and ease is deeply unsettling for those who build their lives around security and predictability. Sigma males don't fear the unknown because they understand that it's inevitable. Change is constant, and clinging to the illusion of control only leads to frustration. Instead of resisting, they adapt. They know that growth happens in the moments where comfort ends, so they willingly step into unfamiliar territory without hesitation. This mindset allows them to navigate challenges and seize opportunities that others would shy away from. Their comfort with the unknown isn't reckless, it's calculated. Sigmas trust their ability to think critically, adapt quickly, and find solutions in real time. They don't need a clear roadmap because they know they can create their own path as they go. This self-assurance makes them seem fearless, which is both inspiring and intimidating to those who feel paralyzed by uncertainty. For people who rely on routines and long-term plans, watching a Sigma male thrive in chaos can feel like a rebuke of their entire way of life. It's not that Sigmas are dismissive of stability, they simply don't rely on it. They show that security is often an illusion, and that real strength comes from the ability to face the unknown without flinching. This fearless approach to uncertainty challenges the status quo. It forces others to question their own fear-driven decisions, leaving them both awed and unnerved by the Sigma's quiet confidence in the face of the unpredictable. Number 6. They reveal the fragility of social masks. Sigma males are unapologetically authentic. They don't wear social masks, follow unwritten rules, or tailor their personalities to fit in. They are who they are, flaws, strengths, and all, and they don't feel the need to explain or justify it. This raw honesty is rare, and it reveals something most people would rather avoid: how much they rely on facades to navigate the world. For many, social masks are a form of survival. They hide insecurities, amplify strengths, and smooth over the edges to gain acceptance or approval. But when faced with someone like a Sigma male, who refuses to conform or wear a mask, those layers of pretense suddenly feel paper-thin. It's not that the Sigma deliberately exposes anyone. They simply live in a way that makes the contrast impossible to ignore. This unfiltered authenticity is unsettling because it holds up a mirror. It forces others to confront the gap between who they are and who they pretend to be. While the Sigma male moves through life free of pretense, others find themselves questioning why they've spent so much time and energy crafting an image instead of embracing their true selves. What's even more disarming is how effortless it is for a Sigma. They aren't trying to make a statement or prove a point. They're just existing as themselves. This quiet rebellion against social norms challenges the deeply ingrained belief that conformity equals success. It leaves others questioning whether their masks are protecting them or holding them back. For those unwilling to let go of their facades, the Sigma's authenticity can feel like a threat. It forces them to confront truths they'd rather keep buried, making the presence of a Sigma both inspiring and deeply uncomfortable. Number 7. They aren't impressed by success. In a world obsessed with status symbols, Sigma males stand apart by simply not caring. Flashy cars, designer clothes, prestigious titles, or a stacked bank account, none of it phases them. They view these things not as indicators of success, but as distractions that people use to mask deeper insecurities. This indifference to what society celebrates as making it leaves others unsettled, even defensive, because it challenges the value of the very things they've been conditioned to pursue. Sigma males measure success differently. It's not about accumulation or external validation. It's about freedom, fulfillment, and authenticity. They prioritize experiences, personal growth, and independence over material gains or social accolades. This mindset flips the script on conventional definitions of success, forcing others to question whether their own achievements genuinely fulfill them or if they're just chasing approval from others. What makes this more unnerving is that Sigmas don't vocalize their indifference. They simply live it. They're the person who walks into a room full of high achievers and doesn't flinch or fawn. They don't try to one-up anyone or prove their worth because they don't feel the need to. This quiet confidence can make others uncomfortable, especially those who've tied their identity to their possessions or status. When faced with someone who isn't impressed by the usual trappings of success, people often start questioning their own motivations. Why work so hard for things that don't truly matter? Why seek validation from people who may not even notice? The Sigma's lack of interest shines a light on these uncomfortable questions, leaving others to wrestle with the fragility of their pursuits. Sigmas remind the world that true success isn't about what you have, it's about who you are. And for those trapped in the race for more, that realization can be deeply unsettling. Number 8. They challenge hidden agendas without saying a word. Sigma males have an uncanny ability to see through hidden agendas without uttering a single word. It's not that they actively seek to expose others, but their presence alone is enough to make people with ulterior motives squirm. Whether it's a subtle manipulation or a hidden agenda masked as friendliness, Sigma males seem to know the truth beneath the surface, and they don't need to say anything to make that clear. This ability to detect dishonesty or hidden motives creates an invisible tension in the room. For those who rely on subtle manipulation, the Sigma's quiet confidence feels like a direct challenge. It's not that they confront anyone or call them out, they don't need to. Just by being aware and unfazed, they expose the vulnerability of those who are pretending, forcing them to question whether their deceit is as well hidden as they thought. What makes this especially powerful is the Sigma male's refusal to engage in the games others play. They won't fall for manipulation, and they won't reciprocate the hidden agendas. Their neutrality and clarity create an environment where dishonesty has nowhere to hide. For people accustomed to controlling situations or people with subtle tactics, being around someone who doesn't buy into the game feels uncomfortable. Those with ulterior motives find themselves instinctively defensive. The Sigma male doesn't challenge them head-on, but their awareness forces others to confront their own motives. This unspoken pressure makes it nearly impossible for people to stay comfortable in their deception, and the Sigma remains quietly unaffected by it all. By simply existing with complete clarity and authenticity, Sigma males force people to face what they'd rather not see: their own manipulation. It's not a confrontation, it's a subtle disruption, one that exposes the fragility of deceit without a single word being spoken. Number 9. They handle rejection better than anyone. Rejection rolls off a Sigma male like water off a duck's back. While most people crumble, retreat into self-doubt, or try to change themselves in response, Sigma males see rejection as nothing more than an opportunity to adjust, adapt, and move forward. It's a moment to recalibrate, not to spiral. This remarkable resilience isn't a facade. They genuinely aren't fazed by setbacks because they don't tie their self-worth to external validation. They know their value isn't defined by others' opinions or approval. What makes this so unsettling to others is the sheer indifference with which a Sigma handles rejection. When someone turns them down, dismisses their idea, or even disapproves of them, they don't seek to convince, argue, or get defensive. They simply assess the situation, learn from it if necessary, and move on. This calm, nonchalant reaction exposes the fragility of people who place their entire sense of self on how others perceive them. For those whose self-worth crumbles under the weight of even minor rejection, watching a Sigma male shrug it off so effortlessly can be downright terrifying. Rejection is something most people avoid or fear, but Sigma males have mastered it. They don't see it as a personal affront. They understand that rejection is often a reflection of someone else's preferences, limitations, or circumstances, not a judgment of their own worth. This ability to bounce back without hesitation or internal collapse leaves others questioning why they let rejection have so much power over them in the first place. By embracing rejection as part of the journey, Sigma males remind everyone that it's not the setbacks that define us, but how we respond to them. This quiet strength terrifies those who are vulnerable to rejection's emotional weight, showing them just how much they've been letting their sense of self depend on the wrong things. Number 10. They make solitude look inviting. Solitude is a concept that many fear, a void that's often filled with restlessness, loneliness, or anxiety. Most people avoid it at all costs, seeking distractions, company, or noise to drown out the uncomfortable silence of being alone. But for Sigma males, solitude is a sanctuary. It's where they recharge, reflect, and grow. Their comfort with being alone isn't an attempt to escape others. It's a choice to embrace peace and inner strength. This quiet ease in solitude makes it look inviting, even desirable, to anyone who's watched a Sigma thrive in their own company. For those who fear being alone, seeing a Sigma male thrive in solitude is an unsettling experience. It forces them to confront something they've been avoiding, their own company. The Sigma's comfort with solitude highlights just how much others rely on external validation, distractions, or social interactions to feel complete. It's a mirror held up to their own insecurities, one that they'd rather look away from. The Sigma's ability to embrace solitude without hesitation reveals a truth that many would prefer to ignore. True contentment doesn't come from being surrounded by people or constantly seeking approval. It comes from being comfortable with who you are, whether alone or in the company of others. For those who fear isolation, the Sigma's peaceful existence in solitude feels like a challenge, a reminder of the self-doubt they carry within. What's even more unsettling is how effortlessly a Sigma makes solitude look. They're not trying to prove anything or show off their ability to be alone. It's simply who they are. This natural ability to find peace in isolation leaves others questioning why they're so afraid to face themselves. To a Sigma, solitude isn't something to escape. It's a space for growth and reflection, and in that stillness they find strength that others can't even imagine. As I wrap up, in the end, Sigma males may not even realize the impact they have on those around them. It's not about trying to intimidate or unsettle anyone, it's just that their way of living, thinking, and existing goes against the grain of what society expects. From their ability to detach without drama to their comfort in solitude, Sigma males unknowingly expose the weaknesses and insecurities of the world around them. The truth is, they don't seek validation from others, and that is what leaves many shaken. They don't need to prove themselves because they already know their worth. And that kind of quiet confidence is often misinterpreted as coldness, even though it's simply authenticity in its purest form. If you find yourself nodding along, wondering if this might resonate with you, chances are you've got a bit of Sigma energy in you too. Embrace it. Don't be afraid to lean into your individuality, your independence, and your ability to navigate the world on your terms. The discomfort you cause isn't intentional, but it's a signal to others that they need to take a deeper look at themselves. Keep thriving in your own way, stay true to yourself, and watch how the world adapts around you. The Sigma male isn't out to change anyone else, they're just too focused on being their authentic self to notice how much they change everything they touch. Keep doing you, because that's exactly what the world needs. See you in our next video. God bless you.